Captain Elias Kane stepped off the small transport ship onto the rocky surface of Kalara 7, a distant human-colonized planet. The wind carried a sharp scent, a mix of minerals and alien flora. Jagged rock formations stretched toward the pinkish sky, and strange glowing plants swayed in the faint breeze. Elias adjusted the strap of his backpack and scanned the horizon. This mission was supposed to be simple: assist the research team studying rare energy crystals. But as always, nothing in Elias's life was ever simple. "Welcome to Kalara 7, said Lieutenant Mira Talbot, the human team leader, waving him over. She was a tall woman with sharp eyes and an easy confidence that came from years in exploration. "The team is waiting at the base. You'll meet the alien scout first." Elias raised an eyebrow. "Alien scout?" he asked, trying to hide the flicker of curiosity in his voice. Humans had long been exploring new planets and meeting alien species, but there was always a sense of the unknown, something unpredictable. Mira smiled faintly. "Her name is Serena Vielle. The Xylarians have helped us navigate Kalara 7 before. She's the best scout we've ever worked with, and she has her own rules." Elias nodded slowly, intrigued. He had a feeling this mission would not be like the others. The path to the research base was rocky and uneven. Strange insects with translucent wings buzzed near glowing plants. The wind carried a low, humming sound that vibrated through the rocks. Elias felt the thrill of discovery. This was why he had chosen to explore space, adventure, and the unknown. The base appeared after about an hour, a small collection of metal structures nestled in a natural valley. A soft hum indicated the energy crystals inside, pulsing gently. And then Elias saw her. Serena Vielle stood near the entrance, adjusting her gear. She was taller than most humans, her long limbs moving with elegant precision. Her skin shimmered faintly in shades of blue and silver, reflecting the sunlight in a way that made her seem almost otherworldly. Her eyes, large and luminous, turned toward Elias as he approached. Elias stepped forward. "Lieutenant Kane reporting for duty," he said, offering a hand. Serena flinched, not violently, but noticeably. Her hand recoiled slightly, and her eyes widened with caution. Elias froze. He had seen alien reactions before, but this was something different. "I am Serena Vielle," she said softly, her voice musical but cautious. "You should not touch my gear." Elias tilted his head, intrigued. "Why not? It's just a strap. I just wanted to help." She took a small step back. Her gaze softened slightly, but there was still a clear boundary. Then, almost in a whisper, she said, "Only mates may do that." Elias's brow furrowed. "Mates?" he repeated. He had heard of mating rituals in alien cultures, but this was something more, something personal and serious. Her words held weight. There was history and tradition in that statement. Serena looked down at her gear, then back at him. In Xylarian culture, touching another's gear without permission is a deep violation of trust. Only someone accepted as a mate may do so. "Do not reach again until I allow it." Elias nodded slowly. He could feel the hum of her energy, the same energy that pulsed faintly in the crystals around them. Respecting this boundary would be important, not just for cooperation, but for survival on this planet. Mira stepped in, sensing the tension. "Don't worry, Kane. Serena's rules are part of working together. Give her space, you'll learn her ways soon enough." Elias watched Serena move through the camp with grace and precision. Every motion was purposeful. How she handled tools, checked equipment, and scanned the horizon. Even in silence, she commanded respect. He followed Mira inside the main building, a metallic dome with glowing panels. The energy crystals inside bathed the room in soft, pulsating light. Human scientists worked at various stations monitoring the crystals' reactions. "Here's the plan," Mira said. She pointed to a holographic map of the area. "The crystals grow in pockets around Kalara 7. Some are unstable and some are highly valuable for research. Your job is to protect the team while we collect samples. You'll work closely with Serena. She knows the terrain better than anyone." Elias nodded. Understood. I've dealt with dangerous terrain before. Mira glanced at him, a faint smile playing on her lips. Dangerous terrain is one thing. This planet is alive in ways you haven't seen. The crystals react to life forms, movement, and even emotions. Keep that in mind. Elias's curiosity deepened. Reacting to emotions? That could make this mission far more complicated than he expected. As the day wore on, Elias observed Serena. She moved with quiet efficiency, her senses alert to every sound, vibration, and shift in the glowing landscape. Elias tried to keep pace, but her connection to the planet's energy was evident. It wasn't just skill, it was instinct, almost, like she could feel the world breathe. During a short break, Elias approached her cautiously. "Serena, about earlier." She looked at him, her eyes calm but unreadable. "I want to understand," he said. "I don't mean to disrespect you or your culture. I just want to work together safely." Serena studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded slightly. "Understanding is the first step," she said softly. "Respect comes next. Trust will follow, if you earn it." Elias felt a spark of respect for her wisdom. Here was a being centuries ahead in cultural awareness, teaching him that courage alone was not enough. Survival and cooperation required patience, empathy, and understanding. Suddenly, the ground trembled. A low growl echoed from the canyon walls outside. Scientists froze, and Serena's ears twitched. Elias felt a rush of adrenaline. The energy. Crystals pulsed faster as if reacting to the tension in the air. "Move to cover," Serena commanded. Her voice was calm, authoritative, and Elias obeyed without hesitation. He could see now why she was respected. Her control and precision under stress were remarkable. From the canyon, a large crystalline creature emerged. Its body shimmered like the energy crystals themselves, and its movements were swift and unpredictable. It growled again, sending vibrations through the ground. Elias raised his weapon instinctively, but Serena stepped forward, analyzing the creature's behavior. "It reacts to fear," she said, "not to bullets. Stand still, stay calm. Move only if I signal." Elias's heart raced, but he trusted her. He had faced dangerous aliens before, but this was different. The predator's intelligence was evident. It was not just hunting, it was assessing. Serena reached for her gear, but paused, glancing at Elias. A small, almost imperceptible nod told him he could move closer. He extended his hand toward her strap slowly, giving her the choice. She allowed it. For a moment, their hands touched, and Elias felt a surge of connection, trust, understanding, and something unspoken, almost like the planet itself acknowledged the bond. With precise movements, Serena led the creature away from the camp, guiding it safely toward a canyon where it would not harm anyone. Elias followed, awed by her skill and composure. When it was over, Serena looked at him, a faint smile on her lips. "You are learning," she said. "Respect and patience. These are the first steps." Elias nodded, feeling a new sense of purpose. This mission would test not only his courage but his ability to understand and respect another culture. And, perhaps in the process, he would discover a bond unlike any he had known before. As night fell over Kalara 7, the glowing crystals lit the camp with gentle pulses of light. Elias sat outside the dome, staring at the alien landscape. He realized that survival here would require more than skill or strength. It would require connection, trust, and a willingness to learn. And with Serena Vielle as his guide, he felt ready to face whatever this strange, living world would throw at him. The adventure had begun, and already Elias knew his life would never be the same. The next morning, Kalara 7 awoke with a gentle, alien light spilling across the rocky valleys. The energy crystals hummed softly, pulsing in rhythm with the rising sun. Captain Elias Kane stretched and adjusted his backpack. The events of the previous day still raced through his mind. He had survived the crystal predator thanks to Serena Vielle's guidance, and had even earned a small measure of her trust. Yet, he knew that earning trust in the Xylarian culture was only the beginning. Mira Talbot approached him with a steaming cup of synthesized coffee.
"Sleep well?" she asked. Elias nodded, taking the cup. "Yes, but I have questions. About Serena. About her rules." Mira nodded knowingly. Silarians are a proud species. Their culture is built around trust, loyalty, and bonds called
Matings. But it's more than romance, though that can be part of it. A Xylarian only allows someone to touch their gear, share close quarters, or even guide them through danger once they accept them as a mate. It's a sign of ultimate trust. Elias sipped his coffee, thinking carefully. So if I want to work with her, I need to earn this trust? Exactly, Mira said. But you can't force it. It comes from actions, character, and respect. And remember, Xylarians can sense fear and hesitation. The planet itself can sense it too. Elias's brow furrowed. He had faced danger before, but the thought of a world that responded to emotions was something entirely new. He knew he would have to master his instincts and remain calm, no matter what Kailara 7 threw at him. The research team gathered for a briefing. Scientists laid out the plan for exploring the crystal zones. We need samples from the northern caverns, said Dr. Han, a human geologist, but those areas are unstable. Previous expeditions have reported crystal shifts, tremors, and even the northern caverns of Kailara 7 were unlike anything Elias had ever seen. Jagged crystals jutted from the walls, glowing with soft blue and violet hues. The air was thick and electric, tingling against his skin. Every step echoed in the cavern, yet Elias felt an almost invisible pulse through the ground, as if the planet itself was alive and aware of his presence. Serena led the way, moving silently over the uneven terrain. Her long limbs seemed to glide effortlessly, each footfall measured, precise, careful. Elias followed closely, trying to mirror her movements, but he felt every bump and slip in the rocky floor. He realized just how much he relied on her guidance and how much he still had to learn. "This area is extremely sensitive," Serena whispered, her luminous eyes scanning the cavern. "The crystals here react to movement and emotion. Sudden, fear, anger, or even excitement. It can trigger instability. Stay calm, stay focused." Elias nodded, steadying his breath. He could feel the energy in the crystals, a soft vibration that hummed in rhythm with the pulsing light. It was beautiful and dangerous. Dr. Han and the rest of the human scientists followed, carefully extracting crystal samples. Each movement had to be deliberate. Elias noticed small tremors every time someone moved too quickly. A crystal shifted near the ceiling, sending a cascade of tiny shards down. Elias caught one in his gloved hand just before it struck a scientist. Serena watched, silent approval in her gaze. "You are improving," she said quietly. Observation. First, reaction second, remember this. Hours passed as the team moved deeper into the cavern. Then, without warning, the ground beneath them trembled violently. A low rumble echoed from the walls, and dust fell from the jagged ceiling. The team froze. "The crystals, they are unstable," Elias shouted, instinctively scanning for danger. Serena's eyes narrowed. "Everyone, move slowly to the left. Follow me. Stay calm." Elias noticed that one section of the cavern wall had deep cracks. A crystal formation above looked ready to collapse. He signaled Dr. Han and guided him behind a safe boulder. Serena moved like a shadow, perfectly aware of the unstable areas. Suddenly, a louder rumble shook the cavern. The energy crystals pulsed violently, reacting to the stress in the air. The cave seemed alive, almost aware of their fear. Elias felt a surge of adrenaline but reminded himself to remain calm. He watched Serena closely, letting her example guide him. Then he saw it, a creature emerging from the crystal shadows. Its body shimmered with the same blue and violet energy as the surrounding crystals. It moved with surprising intelligence, circling the team, assessing them. Elias froze, recognizing it from reports. A predator unique to this cavern, attracted to the energy of living beings. "Stay still," Serena whispered, her voice calm but firm. It senses fear. If we move recklessly, it will attack. Elias held his breath, recalling her earlier words about trust and patience. The creature paused, its glowing eyes tracking the team. Small pulses of energy flickered from its body, resonating with the cavern walls. Elias felt the vibration in his chest, a deep thrum that seemed to sync with his own heartbeat. He glanced at Serena. Her hand rested lightly on her gear, yet she did not flinch. Her calm presence radiated confidence, and Elias realized that his own steadiness depended on her. The creature edged closer, testing their reactions. Elias instinctively reached toward Serena's strap, but he stopped himself. He remembered her words. Only mates may do that. Instead, he mirrored her, movements stepping in sync with her signals, letting her lead. Serena gave a small nod. Elias took it as permission to move closer in a protective stance. Together, they guided the creature toward a narrow ledge where it could do no harm. The creature hesitated, then retreated, melting back into the shadows of the cavern. The team exhaled collectively, relief washing over them. Elias felt a new respect for Serena, not just as a scout, but as a being deeply connected to her environment. Her skill was unmatched, and her calm presence had kept everyone alive. Excellent work, Serena said softly. You observe, you respect, you adapt. This is the path to trust. Elias nodded, realizing that every moment in this cavern was a test, not of strength, but of patience, understanding, and composure. The team resumed work cautiously, extracting samples from safer crystal clusters. Elias kept a careful watch, ready to react without panicking. He noticed the subtle changes in the crystals, the way they pulsed faster when fear crept in, and slowed when calmness returned. The planet itself seemed alive, sensitive to the emotions of its visitors. As the day wore on, the cavern walls began to shift. Tiny cracks widened, and small rocks tumbled to the floor. Elias recognized the warning signs of a possible collapse. He signaled the team to retreat, guiding them back along the path Serena had marked. She moved alongside him, her presence steadying his nerves. Suddenly, a large chunk of crystal detached from the ceiling, crashing near Dr. Hahn. Elias reacted instantly, grabbing the scientist and pulling him to safety. Dust filled the air, making visibility difficult. Serena called out instructions, guiding the team through the treacherous terrain. Keep moving. Do not panic, she commanded. Her voice was calm, firm, and filled with authority. Elias followed her exactly, leading the team away from the unstable areas. Finally, they reached a safer chamber deeper inside the cavern. The crystals here pulsed, gently, more stable than the dangerous areas they had just navigated. The team collapsed onto the ground, exhausted but unharmed. Elias sat beside Serena, catching his breath. You did well, Serena said, her luminous eyes meeting his. Your control, your patience, and it is improving. You are learning what it means to respect life, not just survive. Elias felt a sense of pride, but also humility. He realized how much he relied on her guidance. He also understood that survival here required more than courage. It required understanding, observation, and respect for both the planet and its native species. Later, as they rested, Elias tried to ask questions about her culture. Serena, this mate bond, how does it work? Is it only about survival or is there more? Serena's gaze softened, reflecting the soft glow of the crystals. It is survival, yes, but also connection. A mate bond is trust, loyalty, and life shared. It ensures that in danger one can rely completely on another. It is sacred, not taken lightly. Elias nodded, absorbing her words. He realized that the bond was about more than companionship. It was about trust, respect, and mutual protection. In a world as dangerous as Kalara 7, such bonds could mean life or death. As night fell, the cavern settled into a quiet hum. The crystals glowed softly, casting long, shimmering shadows. Elias watched Serena move among the scientists, guiding them with precision. He felt a growing admiration, not just for her skill, but for her wisdom and patience. He knew that the next challenges would be even greater. Kylara 7 had tested them today, and it would continue to test their courage, intelligence, and understanding. But Elias felt ready. He had learned to control fear, to observe before acting, and to respect boundaries, even those that were difficult to understand. Sitting near the glowing crystals, Elias reflected on the day's events. The planet was alive, aware of their presence and sensitive to their emotions. Survival required more than weapons or training. It required empathy, patience, and the ability to trust others. He looked at Serena, who was checking the perimeter, one last time before the team settled for the night. Her calm and disciplined presence was reassuring. Elias realized that trust was not something that could be demanded. It had to be earned moment by moment, action by action. Tomorrow, they would venture deeper into the caverns, facing unknown dangers and challenges. Elias knew that every step, every decision would test his courage, intelligence, and understanding. But he also knew that with Serena by his side and the lessons he had learned today, he had a chance not only to survive but to grow, both as a human and as a member of this extraordinary team. The glow of the crystals illuminated the cavern, casting a serene, otherworldly light. Elias felt a quiet sense of hope and determination. Kylara 7 was dangerous, but it was also beautiful. And with patience, respect, and courage, he believed humanity could not only survive here but thrive. The adventure continued, and the true tests of trust, bravery, and connection were only beginning. Elias knew that the bonds he formed today, with Serena, with the team, and with the planet itself, would shape not only the mission's success, but the future of human exploration in ways he had never imagined. The next morning, the northern caverns were quieter than usual. The soft glow of the crystals reflected off the jagged walls, casting strange, moving shadows. Captain Elias Kane stood near the entrance of a new chamber, feeling the subtle vibrations of the cavern floor beneath. His boots. He could sense the tension in the air. This part of Kylara 7 seemed alive in a way that made every step unpredictable. Serena Vielle moved ahead with her usual precision. Her long limbs carried her effortlessly over uneven rocks, and her eyes glowed faintly in the crystal light. Elias followed, trying to match her pace, though each careful step reminded him how cautious one had to be here. "This chamber is unstable," Serena said quietly, her gaze sweeping the walls. "Many have entered and failed to leave safely. One wrong move, one sudden shift, and then the crystals will collapse. You must trust your instincts and mine." Elias nodded. He had learned to control his fear, to observe first, then act. The team had emerged from the northern caverns alive but exhausted. Kylara 7's glowing horizon stretched before them, painting the jagged rocks and alien flora in shades of violet and pink. The energy crystals near the base hummed softly, almost as if congratulating them for surviving the perilous journey. Captain Elias Kane surveyed the landscape, feeling a mix of relief, pride, and anticipation. They had passed the first great test of the caverns, but Elias knew the planet still held challenges far greater than they could imagine. Serena Vielle moved beside him with the same quiet grace, her luminous eyes scanning the environment. Elias noticed the subtle changes in her posture, the slight ease in her movements, as if the danger they had faced together had shifted something between them. She had allowed him to share the responsibilities of protecting the team, a step that in Xylarian culture marked the beginning of trust. "You handled yourself well," Serena said softly, her voice carrying a calm authority. "Your patience and observation have improved. The team respects you, and I am beginning to respect you as well." Elias smiled, though he felt the weight of her words. Respect from a Xylarian was earned slowly, through deeds and not words. He understood that every choice he made now mattered, not just for survival, but for forming a bond that could shape their cooperation and the future of the mission. Dr. Hahn approached, carrying carefully collected crystal samples. "This is incredible," he said, his excitement barely contained. "These formations are unique, unlike anything we've seen before." If we can study them safely, it could change everything we know about energy crystals and planetary ecosystems. Elias nodded. It's thanks to Serena's guidance and the team's discipline that we're alive to study them. Serena's gaze flicked toward him, a small nod acknowledging the compliment. Elias felt a quiet sense of pride. Their teamwork was more than survival. It was a demonstration of how humans and Xylarians could work together when trust and respect were at the foundation. That evening, the team gathered around a soft, glowing campfire near the crystal field. The air was calm, and the humming energy of the crystals provided a serene backdrop. Elias sat next to Serena, noticing how her presence seemed to stabilize not only the team, but the environment around them. You have learned much in a short time, Serena said. Trust is fragile. It can be broken in an instant, but it can also grow stronger when nurtured. Today you have shown qualities that are rare in humans: patience, courage, and understanding. You have begun the path to becoming a mate, by our definition. Not for romance alone, but for complete trust and partnership. Elias absorbed her words. The concept of being a mate in Xylarian culture was far more than personal. It represented a bond of loyalty and mutual protection. He realized that survival on Kylara 7 required not only individual skill, but the ability to form alliances that were unbreakable in the face of danger. As the team shared stories and examined crystal samples, Elias reflected on the challenges they had faced. The planet was alive, its energy intertwined with every action, every emotion. Fear, hesitation, and recklessness had been their enemies. Calmness, observation, and teamwork had been their allies. And now, a new element had emerged: trust between two very different species. The next morning, Elias and Serena led the team toward a previously unexplored section of the caverns. The path was narrow, winding between jagged crystal formations. The energy here pulsed more intensely, as if aware of their approach. Elias felt the vibrations in the ground, matching his steps to the rhythm of the planet. He had learned to sense subtle shifts, to anticipate danger before it arrived. Stay close, Serena instructed. These crystals respond to all forms of energy. Even minor tension can trigger instability. Move deliberately. Elias followed her lead, guiding the team with calm authority. For the first time, he felt a deeper connection, not just with Serena, but with the planet itself. Every step, every breath was a shared rhythm, a bond of understanding that went beyond words. They reached a wide chamber filled with enormous energy crystals, the light reflected in dazzling patterns across the walls. In the center, a massive formation pulsed with a vibrant glow, radiating energy so strong it made the air tingle. The team approached cautiously. This is the primary crystal, Serena explained. It powers the ecosystem here. Any disturbance could destabilize the entire cavern system. Only one who has earned trust may handle it safely. Elias stepped forward, feeling the weight of responsibility. He extended his hands toward the crystal, remembering the lessons Serena had taught him: patience, respect, observation, and calmness. The crystal pulsed in response, almost like a heartbeat. Elias mirrored its rhythm, moving with the flow rather than against it. The team watched in silence as Elias carefully adjusted protective measures around the crystal, ensuring its stability. Serena moved beside him, her presence steadying him, guiding him with subtle gestures. When the task was complete, the crystal pulsed more evenly, the energy stabilizing. You have proven yourself, Serena said quietly, her eyes reflecting the soft glow. Trust is built not by words but by deeds. Today you have shown that you are worthy of the bond. Elias felt a surge of pride, but also a deep humility. Respect and trust were fragile, precious things. He realized that the alliance they had forged was stronger than any weapon or shield. It was built on understanding, courage, and mutual reliance. Later, as the team camped inside the chamber, Elias spoke with Mira. This planet, it tests everything: strength, skill, patience. But it also tests character. And Serena, She's teaching me that connection is just as important as courage. Mira nodded. Exactly. Humans often rely on technology and strength, but Kalara 7 demands more. It rewards empathy, understanding, and the ability to form true bonds. That's humanity at its best, adapting, learning, and thriving through respect and courage. Elias looked toward Serena, who was quietly observing the glowing crystals. He realized that the bond they had begun to form was more than cultural. It was a partnership forged under danger and shared understanding, and it was a bond that would shape the future of their mission. As night fell, the crystals bathed the chamber in a serene light. Elias sat near Serena, reflecting on the journey so far. He had faced danger, learned patience, and earned a measure of trust from a species whose standards were unlike any human experience. The alliance they had formed was a testament to the potential of humanity to work with others, not through force, but through understanding and character. You are learning. Quickly, Serena said softly, her gaze meeting his. The next steps will test you further, but the foundation has been laid. Trust has been forged. And with trust comes the power to face even greater challenges. Elias nodded, feeling a sense of determination. Kalara 7 had tested them, and they had survived. But more than survival, they had grown. The bond between humans and Xylarians, between him and Serena, was now a force that could overcome the dangers ahead. As he prepared for sleep, Elias realized that this mission was more than exploration. It was a lesson in patience, courage, and connection. Kalara 7 was a living world, and the bonds they formed here would determine not only their survival, but the future of human exploration. And as he drifted to sleep, the pulsing glow of the crystals seemed to whisper a promise. Humanity could thrive here, not through dominance or fear, but through understanding, respect, and the extraordinary strength of unity. The alliance was forged, the bond growing stronger, and the adventure was far from over. Elias knew that the challenges ahead would be greater, but for the first time he felt ready, not just as a human explorer, but as someone who had begun to understand the true meaning of trust and partnership on Kalara 7. The morning light on Nonin Kalara 7 shimmered over the alien horizon, casting long shadows across the jagged crystal formations. The team had rested and regrouped, their energy restored after the trials of the caverns. But the true challenge was still ahead, stabilizing the massive energy crystal at the heart of the northern field. Its power radiated in waves affecting the ecosystem, the weather, and the delicate balance of life on the planet. Captain Elias Kane stood beside Serena Vielle, his senses alert. He had learned to read the subtle shifts in the crystals, to feel the rhythm of Kalara 7 itself. He understood that the planet responded not just to physical touch, but to emotional and mental energy as well. His bond with Serena had grown, marked by trust and understanding rather than words alone. The primary crystal must be calibrated, Serena said softly, her glowing eyes reflecting the morning light. Any error could cause instability. The humans can assist, but only together can the true power be managed. Elias nodded. We've learned to move as one. Let's make sure nothing goes wrong. The team advanced toward the crystal field, stepping carefully over luminescent flora and rock formations that hummed faintly under their feet. Mira, the lead scientist, carried delicate instruments, while other humans and Xylarians followed in coordinated precision. Elias and Serena led, their movements synchronized as if they shared a single purpose. As they reached the massive crystal, its vibrant glow seemed almost alive. The air was charged with energy, causing every hair on Elias's arms to stand on, and he reached out, feeling the crystal's pulse, and adjusted his grip to mirror its rhythm. Serena mirrored his movements, go.